Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Alexander Volkanovski and Darren Elkins just had, in my opinion, fight of the night so far at UFC Boise. This was a fight, man. Darren the Damage Elkins came in on a 6-fight winning streak. Alexander Volkanovski, I believe, is on like a 10-fight winning streak. He's 18-1 now. Came into this fight at 17-1. This was his first ranked opponent in the UFC, Alexander Volkanovski. But he's looked great in his UFC run so far. He's undefeated in the UFC, I believe 4-0 coming into this fight against the top 10 ranked featherweight Darren Elkins, the Damage, and he did a lot of it in this fight. I'm talking about Alexander Volkanovski. Holy smokes. In the first round, Volkanovski had Elkins in danger with the guillotine off of Elkins' takedown attempt, but he escaped, and after that, that's when Volkanovski was really just started to apply the damage from that point to the rest of the fight. Darren Elkins started with a nice, it all started with a nice elbow on the break, and then there was a couple of big right hands in the first round that dropped Elkins. Volkanovski tried to lock up a guillotine instead of follow up with some ground and pound, or he may have, some people felt like got the finish, but I think he made the right decision as far as Volkanovski did, because he's going against Darren Elkins, and he's probably got the best chin in the featherweight division. I'm talking about pound for pound. I mean, Darren Elkins has one of the best chins in the game, and even with that, it's a miracle he didn't get knocked out in this fight versus Alexander Volkanovski, because after Volkanovski went for that guillotine, they stood back up, and Volkanovski landed 2 more huge right hands in the first round that dropped Elkins. And at the end of the first round, Elkins almost needed help to his corner because it was about 5 or 10 seconds left when one of those big right hands dropped him, and he was kind of saved by the bell. I mean, if the bell wouldn't have went off, if there was 10 more seconds in the round, Volkanovski might have got the first round finish. But Darren Elkins was able to stand up. He almost needed help to his corner, but the ref was like, no, if he needs help to his corner, the fight's off. You know, the fighter can't get help to their corner, or else the other fighter wins. So he made it back to his corner, came out in the second round, and even after taking all that damage in the first, there was another huge right in the second round that wobbled Elkins early. Volkanovski gave him the respect he earned, though. He didn't get reckless. He just continued to control the center of the octagon, trying to pick Elkins apart, using good defense, though, because Elkins, he's always in the fight. That's why this fight was so good. It wasn't just a dominant performance by Volkanovski. I mean, it was, but that's not just what it was. It was also Elkins fighting back. Elkins, the respect he's earned coming into this fight on a 6-fight winning streak. He's a guy always in the fight. He's been down and out, came back, got the KO in the third round, and he almost did that in the second round and the third round of this fight. He was throwing with power. He was throwing some heavy body kicks where if Volkanovski would have ducked the wrong way and that would have caught him, we could have seen like a Marlon Moraes, Aljamain Sterling situation. Volkanovski had to be careful not to get reckless and get KO'd and lose this fight that he was winning pretty handedly. So with that being said, Volkanovski wobbled Elkins again in the second round with under a minute to go, but Elkins was still charging forward, throwing heat at the end of the round. Now, at the end of the round, definitely had both first rounds for Volkanovski, so Elkins needed to finish in the third round, and he wasn't able to get it. Even though he was still throwing heat, Volkanovski just kept coming with it, bringing the damage, and once the fight came to the judges' scorecards, it was a unanimous decision for Volkanovski, and he got on the microphone and he said, yo, Darren Elkins, he shouldn't have never had to take this fight. You know, he's a top 10 guy. He didn't say this part, but this is what I'm thinking he's saying. He said he shouldn't have ever had to take this fight. He should have been fighting the guy in the top 5. And this is what I believe he's talking about, because Darren Elkins was on a 6-fight winning streak. I mean, a couple performances, comebacks of the night, and he's a top 10 ranked fighter. So if you're a top 10 ranked guy riding a 6-fight winning streak, that might bring you a bigger opportunity to get closer to the title. But instead he's fighting the unranked but very dangerous Alexander Volkanovski, who was on his own 4-fight winning streak coming into the fight, undefeated in the UFC. This was a very dangerous and a very tough fight for Darren Elkins to have to take. But with that being said, that's the mindset you kind of want the fighters to have. If Darren Elkins, I mean, what's the option? What's the other option? Would you rather Darren Elkins be a guy willing to take a fight with anyone, anywhere, any place, which he did tonight? Or do you think he should have been a guy that's picking and choosing, like, nah, I'm on a 6-fight winning streak, I don't want to fight Volkanovski, I'd rather wait for a top 5 ranked opponent, and then we wouldn't have got to see this fight tonight if Darren Elkins didn't take this fight. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know. But for us fans, we have to pay our respects and be thankful that Darren Elkins was willing to take this fight, because it was a great fight, probably fight of the night so far. It's going to be hard to compete with. And now Volkanovski bursted into the top 10, if not the number 11th spot in the featherweight division with this big win over Darren Elkins. So with that being said, still more fights to come tonight. It's UFC Boise, headlined by Junior Dos Santos and Blagoy Ivanov. Let the full-time family know what you guys think in the comments. And before we go, shout out to all the full-time MMA white belts that have hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit the bell right next to it so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And this is the hardest working MMA channel on YouTube. We provide daily updates, predictions, betting advice. We do songs. We do fantasy fights. We've interviewed Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley, Bruce Lachmedio, and Felony Charles Bennett, all in just 1 year as an MMA channel. We're one of the fastest growing MMA channels on the net, but we're still small, so make sure you guys go check out the Full-Time MMA Dojo if you want to learn how you can become a full-time MMA black belt. And while you're there, you can see where this MMA channel started from, some of the goals we have for the channel, and even more cool videos just like this one if you enjoyed it. So thanks again to all the full-time MMA white belts that have hit the subscribe button. And also, if you're just lurking and this is your first time seeing a video, appreciate that as well. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOG.